guys, and welcome back to Reading Club. So today I'm going to read you Daisy and the Trouble with Life, Chapter 6 to Chapter 10. Chapter 6. The trouble with our front door is it sticks. You have to pull it really hard to open it. I pulled it really hard when Gabby called for me this morning. I pulled it so hard I nearly squashed myself against the wall. Mom thought it was really funny, so did Gabby, but they weren't the ones who got squashed. How would they like to be grounded and squashed at the same time? The trouble with being squashed by a door is it makes you gulp. And it makes your eyes bulge. Gabby said I looked like a goldfish. Mom said she would take a photo of me and send it to Freddie. Freddie is my goldfish. Was my goldfish. Kind of still is my goldfish. But we had to give him away. We gave him to Mrs. Pike to look after. Mrs. Pike is the lady next door. She's got a garden pond. That's where Freddie lives now. I didn't want to give Freddie away. I wanted to keep him and teach him to talk, but the trouble was, he kept jumping out of his bowl. The trouble with jumping out of your bowl when you're a goldfish is you end up on the carpet. The trouble with carpets is they're nowhere near wet enough place. The trouble with carpets is they're nowhere near wet enough places for goldfish to live. Flip knows why Freddie kept jumping out. Mom said it was because I kept feeding him ants. She reckoned Freddie must have got live ants in his pants, and all the wriggling must have made him want to keep jumping out of his bowl. Trouble is, goldfish don't wear pants. I think Freddie kept jumping out of his bowl because he thought he was a dolphin. When he was living in the sea before he came to our house, he must have met some dolphins who showed him how to do dolphin tricks. If I was a goldfish, I'd much rather be a dolphin because dolphins are by far the best fish around. Dolphins know how to stand on their tails without sinking, and they can balance balls in their nose. So sorry. And they can balance balls in their nose and even jump through hoops without ever landing on a carpet. Freddie's can't. That's the trouble with goldfish who'd rather be dolphins. They can't do tricks without falling out of their bowl. Even if you got quite a big bowl with weed and gravel in and everything. The trouble with weed and gravel and everything is you have to keep it clean. Otherwise, the water in your goldfish bowl goes green. We came back from holiday once and you could hardly see Freddie. Mom said his water looked like pea soup, which is the worst kind of soup in the world. Mom said the suitcases would have to wait, and before we'd even unpacked, she put Freddie in a saucepan of clean water and then wiped all the green stuff off his bowl with a cloth. I wanted to have a bath with Freddie because it would be much more fun for him than a saucepan, but Mom wouldn't let me, which isn't fair because I was really dirty after our holiday and really, really needed a bath with Freddie. If you have baths with goldfish, you can make hoops with your fingers for them to jump through and teach them tricks that even dolphins don't know. But Mom said no. Under no circumstances am I allowed any live fish in the bath with me at any time. Not Freddie, not any goldfish, not even a very small tadpole. Ooh, we're sorry, I just need to go somewhere again. Chapter 7. The trouble with tadpoles is mine never hatched. The one that scolded. They were in a big jar on the window ledge in Mrs. Donovan's class, and they hatched all right and grew legs and ate bacon. Mine didn't. The ones in my bucket just stayed like dots. Mom says I shouldn't have put the ham and live ants in until they're hatched. But I thought if they saw the ham and live ants, they would get hungry and then they would want to hatch quicker. But the ham went moldy and the ants crawled out. Then the water went smelly, and the dots just stayed like dots. That's the trouble with frog spawn dots. Sometimes they don't know what they're meant to do when you put them in a bucket. trouble with buckets is the more you fill them, the heavier they get. When buckets are really heavy, you can hardly carry them at all. Heavy buckets do things they're not meant to do, which isn't your fault. One day I was helping my mom clean the car and I filled our big red bucket with soapy water. Actually, I put the water in first with a hose and then I put some bubble bath in afterwards. Mom didn't know I was using bubble bath. She thought I was using normal car bath. But I thought the suds would be better if I used bubble bath. And they were. But the trouble with suds is they get really sudsy and grow until all you can see is suds and you can't see how much water is in the bucket, which isn't your fault. So when you try to lift the bucket and pour it onto the car, the water goes the wrong way and spills all over you, which isn't your fault either. It's the suds' fault. My mom said it wasn't the suds' fault at all. It was my fault. And if I ever use bubble bath in the car again, she will make me pay for some new bubbles out of my pocket money, which isn't fair or my fault. The trouble with pocket money is Mom never gives me enough. I'd like to see Mom buy all the sweets she needs with only the pocket money I get. If you ask me, my pocket money should be at least 100. Sorry, gotta go again. Chapter 8. The trouble with tummy trouble is you never know when you'll have to run to the loo. One minute you feel all right, and then the next minute your bottom tells you to run up the stairs as fast as you can. It's all my mom's fault I've got tummy trouble. If she gave me 100 pounds a week for my pocket money instead of 50 pence, I wouldn't have run out of money or got tummy trouble or got grounded. That's the problem. That's the trouble with having pocket money that isn't enough. It gets you into trouble, including tummy trouble. If you ask me, my pocket money should be at least 100 pounds a week. No, a day. Actually, a minute. Then I'd be able to buy all the sweets I need without them ever running out. My mom says that I should suck more and crunch less. Then my sweets would last much longer. It's all right for her. She can control her teeth. I can't. No children can. You have to be at least 20 thievish before you can control your teeth, or your eyes, or your arms, or your fingers, especially if it's a strawberry dip-dab. Strawberry dip-dabs are totally my favorite sweets. The lollipop tastes all strawberry, and the sherbet feels all lovely and tingly, and oh, I think this is strawberry dip-dab. And fizzy on your tongue. No children can control their teeth when they're eating strawberry dip-dabs. No children called Daisy anyway. If you're eating a strawberry dip-dab and your name is Daisy, then you just have to crunch. The trouble with crunching is after 4 or 5 bites, the lolly is always gone. That's because lollies are always too small. I tried really hard to suck a sweet once, but in the end, my teeth made me crunch. That's the trouble with not being about 25-ish. You just can't control your teeth, however hard you try. If after about 5 crunches you haven't got any bites of lolly stuck in your teeth, then the only thing you'll have left is the stick. The trouble with lolly sticks is you can't eat them. If you ask me, you should be able to eat the lolly sticks too. If you ask me, all lolly sticks should be made out of more lolly, so that you can eat them all the way down. That's the trouble with people who make lollies. They don't understand how to make good sticks. They don't know how to put more sherbet in the packet either. Whenever I open my dip-dab packets and look inside, there's always too much air. Even before I've dipped in my lolly, there's loads more room for sherbet, about 10 times more at least. The trouble with air is you can't eat it. The trouble with sherbet is it dissolves too quickly and then turns into air. And that's without even the slightest bit of crunching. My mom says I should buy gobstoppers with my pocket money instead of strawberry dip-dabs, but I'd rather buy dip-dabs any day. If I had a gazillion pounds pocket money every week, I'd spend it all on dip-dabs, because strawberry dip-dabs are so nice. Strawberry Dip Dabs are too nice. You can't blame me if they're so nice and too nice. It's not my fault if they're lovely. It's not my fault my pocket money had run out or that I had no money at all to buy sweets. You can't blame me if someone dropped a half-sucked strawberry dip dab on the pavement outside the shops. All I did was see it, pick it up off the pavement, put it in my mouth, and eat it. Excuse me, I need to go to the loo again. Chapter 9. The trouble with germs is they're invisible. Well, they're either invisible or they're red. Whatever they are, you definitely can't even slightly see them when they're on a half-sucked strawberry dip dab. So you can't even slightly blame me because invisible is as small things get. In fact, it's smaller than that. Invisible is totally teensy. You need a green fly's eyes to see something that was invisible, which absolutely isn't my fault. I mean, sometimes I can't even see the dirty socks on my bedroom floor, and they're loads bigger than germs. I'm telling you, the only thing I could see on that dip dab was some sherbet and a bit of dirt which I picked off with my fingers. So, how was I to know it had germs on it? Anyway, I licked all the germs off before my mom even grabbed me. My mom was really cross with me when she came out of the butcher's. In fact, her face was nearly redder than the dip dab. She said she saw me do what I did through the window of the shop, but couldn't run out because she was still paying for the sausages. That's the trouble with sausages. If they didn't take so long to pay for it, I wouldn't have had time to put the dip dab in my mouth. When Mom grabbed me, she told me to spit whatever it was right out. Right now. But she was too late. I was already on my fourth crunch. What will people think? Mom said. What were you thinking of? She said. Had I gotten mad? How could I possibly even think of picking up a dirty, disgusting, germ-covered sweet off the floor and eating it? Eating it! Did she not feed me? Had I not had breakfast that very morning? Had I not polished off a boiled egg and soldiers and 2 slices of toast and jam? Or had I had an argument with a witch while she was in the butcher's and been turned into a dustbin on legs? I wasn't too sure what to say. I thought of asking for some more pocket money, but decided maybe this wasn't the time. So I didn't say anything at all. In any case, it wasn't even a whole dip dab. It was only a half-sucked one with hardly any sherbet on it. So what was all the fuss about? The trouble with not saying anything at all is it leaves lots of space for other people to say things. My mom told me off all the way home in the car, and then when we got home, she told our neighbor, Mrs. Pike, what I'd done. Mrs. Pike told Tiptoes too and asked me if I thought Freddie would ever pick up a dirty fish flake from the floor of her pond. Before I could even answer her, she told me, no, he most certainly would not. If it was the last fish flake in the world. Then my nanny and Grampy came round to our house to lend Mom their stepladder. When they heard what I'd done, they weren't very pleased with me either. They said that even if they were in the war, and there were no sweets, they still wouldn't have picked up a dirty sweet. They still wouldn't have picked a dirty sweet off the pavement. Which doesn't make sense because if there were no sweets, how could one end up on the floor? That's the trouble with really old people. Sometimes they don't know what they're saying. Then, just my rotten luck, my Auntie Sue rings up to tell us about her new plasma green telly. Mom tells her about the dip dab and then hands the phone to me. That's the trouble with telephones. Some people just never stop talking. Auntie Sue told me all about pavements and then all about germs. She said that once germs get inside your tummy, There's no telling what they can do. Especially if they're pavement germs. Pavement germs can give you diseases and tummy aches and headaches and temperatures. She said germs are like mini monsters. They've got 10 heads and 50 eyes and 12 mouths with purple tongues, and they love getting inside you so that they do horrible things to you. Because germs are nasty. Germs are horrible. Germs are out to get you. No wonder they hide in the half-sucked strawberry dip-daps. Oops, here I go again. Chapter 10. Mom sent me to bed early last night. She said children who eat germy dip-daps don't deserve to stay up late. Even if it's a Friday, even if there's no school in the morning. But who cares anyway? I totally wanted to go to bed early yesterday, and double anyway. I had a new comic to read. The trouble with comics is you only get a free gift on the front cover. I think comics would be much better if you get free gifts on all the pages on the inside too. Then you wouldn't need to look at the comic. You could just play with the free toys. I got some fly vision glasses in my last comic. When I put them on, they made everything in my bedroom look weird. Every time I looked at one thing, it looked like 100 things. I wore them in the sweet shop last Tuesday, and they made even gobstoppers look great. When I let Gabby trying my glasses on in her garden, she said it wasn't fly vision, it was alien vision. Gabby says alien vision is how things look if you live in a faraway place like Planet Blurred. That's the trouble with Gabby. She sometimes tells fibs. My mom says there's no such place as Planet Blurred and there's no such thing as aliens or monsters. Except in films, and even then, they're just people dressed up and pretending to be aliens and monsters, like at a fancy dress party. That's the trouble with films. They pretend to be real, but they're not. Last Halloween, I went to a fancy dress party and dressed up as a ghost. Ghosts aren't real either. They're just small children with sheets on. I didn't like being a ghost at first because I couldn't see where I was going. When my mom turned my sheet around, it was much better because then I could see out of the holes and I could breathe. Harry Bayless, who's in my class at school, went to the party dressed as a hooly man with real fake blood and vampire fangs. But Vicky Cara hit him on the head with her hooly stick. It wasn't a real hooly stick, it was a cucumber. Hooly men aren't real either, by the way. Except they do real trees. Except they do real trees. Harry Bayless's dad came to collect him, and all the monsters and ghosts were told to stop running around like lunatics. Vicky Cara asked me if she could hide her cucumber out of my sheet, but I told her I needed both hands to eat my sandwiches. That's the trouble with party sandwiches. If you don't take 3 or 4 all at once, other children will take all the nice ones. Billy Lane said he had real bat's blood in his sandwiches, but it wasn't. It was raspberry jam. So Vicky hit him on the head too. And then she poked Jenny Pearson in the back for having a witch's nose. Vicky Cara's hooly stick got taken away in the end. Actually, so did Vicky Cara. The trouble with ghost sheets is they make you ever so hot. I was really sweating by the time my mom came to collect me. When I took it off outside by the car, my face went all cold in the fresh air. Mom jumped when I took my sheet off and pretended I was more scary without my sheet on. I only smiled a bit. I didn't laugh because she'd done that joke before. When I got home after the party, I couldn't go to get to sleep. But when I did, I had a dream about skeletons, which definitely are real because I saw one in an actual book at school once. Everything in the school book has to be real. It's the law. Anyway, in my dream, 4 skeletons were chasing me, and they were bouncing on big cucumbers like pogo sticks and trying to catch me. It was really scary, but there was nothing I could do, because the trouble with bad dreams is you always have to fall over before you can wake up. But the more I tried to fall over, the more I stayed up, and the closer the skeletons got. In the end, I just closed my eyes and jumped. My mom jumped too when I landed in her bed. She said she was right in the middle of a really nice dream about a handsome prince who was just about to give her his phone number when I had woken her up and made him drop his pen, which did make me laugh and smile a bit and forget about the skeletons because I hadn't heard that joke before. Hold on, I think I need to go to the loo again. Still chapter 10. Actually, no, I don't. I just thought I did. I'm okay. In fact, I think I'm beginning to feel a bit better. Last night after I was sent to bed, I didn't have any dreams at all. My tummy was too busy gurgling. The trouble with gurgles is they sound really loud if they're in your own gulp. When they're your own gurgles, especially if they're germ gurgles. Germ gurgles are much more gurglier than normal gurgles. By the time I'd thrown all my toys at the wall last night and finished looking at my comic and pulled all the whiskers off my rabbit, don't worry, he's a toy, my tummy sounded like it was a growling wolf. When it was evening, Mom came up and pulled my curtains and told me never to pick anything up off the floor again apart from all my toys in the morning. Then she sat on my bed and listened. She said my tummy sounded like a witch's pot and that trouble was brewing. And she said I only had myself to blame. She said if I hadn't been so naughty and put that dirty sweet in my mouth and eaten it, none of this would have happened. That's the trouble with moms. In the end, they're always right, and I'm wrong. I do need to go again. Well, that's the end of this channel. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please click many likes and subscribe Reading Club. Well, I'll come back tomorrow with a new number of channel. Bye, everybody.